Hi, my name is Ashish, and in this video we will see introduction to managing insider risk policies. So let me introduce you to the components of the policy first. Insider risk management policies are created using predefined templates and policy conditions. The conditions define the risk indicators that correspond to particular risk activities that can be identified and examined in Microsoft Purview feature areas. These conditions also include the user added to the policy, which services are prioritized, and the monitoring time. You have a policy dashboard, you have the name, active alerts, confirmed alerts, action taken on alerts, policy effectiveness, and the status of the policy. So let me just quickly log on to the compliance portal and take it from there. Okay, I'm trying to log on to the portal. Okay, here are the top actions to help you get up and running. So I'm on the insider risk management. It is the overview. It says turn on auditing, turn on analytics to scan for potential risk, get to know insider risk management, configure insider risk settings. So this, if I click on it, right, it will show me how I can enable it. Turn on analytics to scan for potential risk. Not started. It takes 48 hours. It includes video tutorial. So if I click on it, so within the portal, they have a video tutorial. How can I do it? Right? If you have any doubts, you can see these videos as well. Step-by-step instructions. Okay, so I'll save it for later. Now, if you see the policies here, right? I don't have any policy created. So if I click on create policies or a policy, here are the things that I was talking about. Policy template, name and description, users and groups. So it will load up the policy template from here. And when you create a policy, right, data theft, prerequisites, data leak policies, security policy violations, it's in preview, health record minute, risky browser usage. So if I say data leaks, it will detect data leaks by any user included in this policy. Data leaks can range from accidental oversharing of information outside your organization to data theft with malicious intent. So it has some prerequisites. It should have DLP policy enabled to generate high severity alerts. So first you have to set up a DLP policy, then you should have devices onboarded, then you should have physical badging connector configured to periodically import access events to priority physical locations. All right. When you have a certain policy created, you would have the options of name, what are active alerts, the number of active alerts for that particular policy that you have created, confirmed alerts, number of alerts that resulted in cases from the policy in the last 365 days, actions, the total number of alerts that were confirmed or dismissed for the last 365 days, the policy effectiveness, the percentage determined by total confirmed alerts divided by total action taken, and if that policy is available or not. So the options that I'm seeing are the policy templates, which contain predefined policy conditions that define the type of risk indicators monitored by a policy. So if I show you data theft by departing users, detect data theft by departing user near their resignation or termination. I should have the devices onboarded, which is optional. It is optional but recommended. So let's say I click on next. I should enter a name. I would say test1. Description, you should have a description included to specific users. I can add a group of users or a particular user account here to whom I want to enable it, or I can do it on all the users. I want to prioritize contents, right? So I want to have SharePoint site, sensitivity labels, sensitive info types, file extensions, trainable classifiers, or you don't want to do that. Right, so you can prioritize content based on factors like where it's stored and how it's classified. Let's say I'm going with I don't want to. Now these are the triggers of the policy. I'll select all. It is test. What are the indicators? You have office indicators, you have device indicators. So if you select here, sharing SharePoint files with people outside the organization, or you can click on turn on all indicators. These are the indicators that you should see, or you can see device indicators here. You can select all, maybe it will take time, and then you would go to the finish section, the detection options. These advanced detection options are used to generate alert for the activity detected. You can also select all, or you can sequence the detection. Click on next. Then you can have these thresholds as well, like 10 to 20 events per day generates by low severity alerts. You can set the thresholds, or you want to go with default thresholds. Okay. Now privacy. Let's talk about privacy in these policy insider risk management. Protecting the privacy of users that have policy matches is important and help promote objectivity in data investigations and analysis review for insider risk alerts. Then for users with insider risk policy matches, let's say you enabled this policy on certain number of users who have put down their resignation. Maybe you can get data if you have an HR data connector enabled or a DLP policy enabled. I don't think DLP policy is needed when you are having data theft or departing employee data theft. So if you would go to the, let's say I cancel this, right? So if you are in insider risk management and you go on settings, right? So it says privacy. We understand how important privacy is to you and your users. For users who perform activities matching the insider risk policy, decide whether to show their actual names or use anonymous version to mask their identities. So I can say show anonymized versions of username or do not show anonymized versions of username. So if I say do not, then Microsoft will show me the actual display names for all the users who perform activities matching the insider risk policies. Then you have indicators. So each policy template is based on specific indicators. Like while I was creating that policy, I was getting an option to add an indicator, right? That correspond to particular risk activities, and alerts are triggered by policies when user performs activities related to these indicators. Then there are policy timeframes. Policy timeframes allows us to define past and future review periods that are triggered after policy matches based on events and activities for the insider risk management policy templates. We can set the activation window, like the number of days 1 to 30 that the window activity activates after a triggering event occurs for any user assigned to the policy, or activation window to 30 days. Several months have passed since, let's say, we have configured the policy and a triggering event occurs for one of the users included in the policy. The triggering event activates the activation window and the policy is active for the user for the next 30 days. Okay. So till the time I can say, okay, I can set it 1 to 30. Then the window activates after a triggering event occurs for any user. Now then there is a past activated detection. The number of days 0 to 90 that the window activates before a triggering event occurs for any user assigned to the policy. For example, assume we have configured an insider risk management policy and set the past activity detection to 90 days. Now several months have passed since we configured this and set past activity detection to 90 days. And a triggering event occurs now for one of the users who was included in the policy. The triggering event activates the past activity detection and the policy gathers historic activities for that user for 90 days prior to the triggering event, because today the triggering event occurred. So if you see the policy timeframes, this is what I'm talking about. You have intelligent detections. In certain circumstances, you may want to define certain file types to ignore or to enforce a detection level, or for files to help define a minimum bar of alerts. Let's say, for example, when using offensive language policies, we may need to increase or decrease detection sensitivity to control the amount of reported policy matches. Now, intelligent detection settings would enable us to control file type exclusions, file volume limits, and the offensive language detection sensitivity. Then you have anomaly detections. Now, these include setting for file types exclusions. It should be here, right? File type exclusions here. I can add file types which will be ignored by the insider risk policies here. Then you have offensive language detection as well, alert volume, alert domains, allowed domains, third party, file path exclusions, trainable classifiers, keyword exclusion as well. Keywords here will be ignored when detected in the file names. And if you want to have offensive language detection, then if you will when you will create a policy here, you will have a template for offensive language detection. You can select low, medium, or high. The lowest sensitivity level with the broadest range for detection of offensive language and sentiment. The mid would have a more balanced range of detection of offensive language and sentiment. The highest sensitivity level with a narrow range for detection of offensive language and sentiment. Now, if you will enable high, the probability of false positive for offensive language matching is low. So this is what I wanted to cover about the insider risk management policies, some of the options that are available in the template. And if you still have any further doubts, please mention them in the comment section, and I'll be happy to assist you. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.